Lifers and loved ones, welcome back to the channel as always. Let's get right into the topic. Back by popular demand. Much respect and shout out to the young lady who requested this video. You know exactly who you are, all right? Hoovers. In this video, we're going to discuss the topic of Hoovers, all right? Please excuse me, it has been a long day, but no excuses will be made. We will get right into it. I'm here for you. You understand me? So let's go. Some of us have the Dyson in our home. Some of us have that Black & Decker. You know, you may have one of them deals from Amazon, you feel me? But the suction is the suction. Hoovers, inspired by the vacuum cleaner, you know what I mean? In the narcissistic community, and it's a terminology that you may have heard or may not have heard, but the Hoover, it's essentially a way of them sucking you back in. So that's where that terminology comes from, the Hoover. So allow me to paint you a picture, all right? As we've discussed in the previous videos, I'll go ahead and link them somewhere, you know what I mean, on the screen so you can check those out if you haven't already. We have the love bomb, the devaluation, and the discard phase, all right? After the devaluation stage, and then you lead into the discard, that's where, you know, it feels like they abruptly, you know, sometimes without warning, like they're looking to shelf you. They're casting you out to the side. I'm not here to trigger anyone. As always, I'm not looking to hurt anyone, but we're about the real. And while no experience is exactly the same, there are a lot of parallels. All right. So a lot of experiences will be similar, but no two people are exactly alike. All right. Most of the time, because narcissists tend to have multiple, you know, sources of supply, you know, and there's levels, you know, some may be long distance, some may be local, some may just be through social media, some may be just through where they work, some are platonic friends, some are family, some are exes, some are supply that they've been dealing with for years and it's off and on. They deal with them and then they don't. They deal with them and then they don't. And it's like the same routine that they're running on you, they're running on these other people. Some people know that it's off and on, but because of the nature of what they do, or they may travel for work, or, you know, they're each other's, you know, side people like this, they're comfortable with it. They're okay with the way that they interact with them. It depends on the standard. It depends on what you're comfortable with. But a lot of times when they discard you, it's because they're entertaining something or someone else. It's very highly unlikely someone came to town. You know, they've made promises to these other sources of supply and it became way too hard to juggle. They wear a lot of masks, toxic and narcissistic people. They are impersonators. They're posers. They're pretenders. That's what they do. So when it becomes too much to bear, they're tired of pretending. They're tired of wearing the mask. They're tired of acting. They will discard you. And typically they're doing so with the understanding that they can come back. Now, there are times where it's like a permanent discard, but it's going to be hard to know what or when that is. But once you come to a point within yourself where you know you're ready to be done, that won't matter anyway, because the discard is just a blessing in disguise. It's an opportunity while they're distracted for you to come to your senses and move on, hopefully. But I digress. Regardless of the reason why they're discarding you, they're doing so with the understanding that they're going to be able to pick you up whenever they feel like it. Is like this light switch right here. They turn you off and turn you on. They turn you off and turn you on, just like that light switch. Okay, so stay with me. Once they've done so, and you come to your senses, you know, you lick your wounds, you gather your information, you do your research, you come across videos like this, you speak to your support system, you may have a confidant, you may know someone who has been through a similar experience, and you begin to heal, like you begin to feel better, you begin to get your confidence back, some time goes by. You know what I mean? And it's like magic. I don't know what it is. Drop it down in the comment section if you can relate, or if this has ever happened to you. Like, as soon as you get it together, as soon as you're healing, as soon as your energy is high again, you feel strong, you're happy, Here comes the Hoover maneuver. Shout out to Harry-O. Here comes the Hoover maneuver. And like I said, it's almost like magic. It's like, how did they know that I was ready to move on? How do they know that I'm like entertaining someone else? It's like, it's uncanny, or at least that's been my personal experience. It's uncanny how they know just when to come back to attempt the Hoover. Now, depending where you are in your healing process, because a lot of times people are looking for closure, or they want a better understanding, or they may feel like they have unfinished business with this toxic person, they may entertain it because they're looking to have their ego stroked. They may entertain the Hoover, but be aware it's all manipulation at the end of the day. Remember the 3 phases: love bomb, evaluation, and discard. It's going to happen again. The more they're able to drop you and pick you back up, the less that they respect you. They're losing respect for you with every nanosecond that passes when you take them back. This is an unfortunate situation where you're not able to have their presence and energy and their respect at the same time. So you're going to have to choose. The most they will ever respect you, as I previously stated, is when you move on and you stay gone. The most that they'll ever value you is when you leave and you stay gone. When you take the narcissist back, it erases everything that happened in their mind. It's like, oh, okay, well, he must be okay with it. He took me back. Oh, okay, she must be cool with it. She forgave me. She took me back. Perhaps if I do it again, or worse, I can come back with the Hoover and they'll take me back again. Like, that's how their minds work. The first order of business is to understand that you do not think like them and they don't think like you. They don't move and maneuver on a day-to-day, and they don't interact with people the same way that you or I might. And even though that, you know, not all people are alike, the thing about narcissists is they treat people like objects or possessions that are to be controlled, and they're entitled to you. Once you've been in the presence and in the energy of a narcissist, like, they feel like they own you. They feel like you're their property. So no matter near or far where they go, how many times they discard you, how many other people they're entertaining, how many other relationships and situationships that they're in, as far as they're concerned, they're well within their rights to move about the country. You're just not supposed to move around. You're not supposed to move around, but they're going to move around, and they're entertaining other supply. Trust and believe. Very seldom you're dealing with a monogamous narc. Like, it's kind of like an oxymoron. They kind of don't go together because they don't have the ability within to generate their own energy. They're very surface. They don't get vulnerable. They don't go deeper. They're not looking to build with you over time. They're there just to tap into your energy and your resources and to suck you dry. That's all they're there to do. And it's only so long you're going to want to continue to have to build it up while they're draining. You know, they're making withdrawals. They're not making deposits. They're making withdrawals. So understand what it is that you're dealing with. All right. They're entertaining these other supplies. You know, their homeboy came to town. You know, their military cousin is in town. You know, they've made promises. Comment down below if you've had a narc disappear on you during the holidays. Like, they just vanish. Poof. Like, they're gone. You had plans. They flake. And another thing, be advised, they will manufacture an argument. Like, they'll deliberately start an argument just so that they can get missing for a couple of days. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. They will, you know, implement that good old sabotage. You know, they'll throw that subterfuge in there so that they can get missing and disappear. Oh, I needed some quiet. I needed some time to think. Yeah, they got on a plane. They crossed state lines. They made promises. They got other supplies. So pay attention. If they're vanishing during the holidays and stuff like that, like, you know what time it is. They're entertaining other supply. It's a thing. You have that narc that doesn't sleep. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you have that narc that can't sleep, doesn't sleep, wake up in the middle of the night when you get up to go to the restroom and see where they're at. They might be somewhere on FaceTime. They might be sitting somewhere talking on the phone. It worked the last 4 times they did it, but this time you happen to wake up and walk into the other room where they're at, and they're probably talking on the phone. They're in the laundry room. they're in the bathroom. They're sitting in their car in the garage talking on the phone. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. There's no other conclusion that you should draw. But regardless of what it is that they're doing, the motivation behind when they discard you, they're going to discard you. It's a cycle. It's a part of it. But they're also doing so with the understanding that they can use the Hoover maneuver and come back. They'll reach out to you. If you have them blocked, they'll email you. If you've severed all the ties with them and they can't reach out to you, they may pop up at your home unannounced if they know where you live. They may pop up where you work. And with narcissistic, like with rejection comes narcissistic rage. I'll delve deeper into narcissistic rage in another video, but they're not very good at regulating their own emotions, and they don't handle situations the way that you or I might. They're not the best critical thinkers. So they may just lash out if they feel rejected. And if they pop up at your place of employment and you ask security to escort them, like, that's gonna likely present a problem, especially if they have any type of access to you, or they, like I said, they know where you park your vehicle, they know where you live. It's deep. It can get deep. And again, not all narcissistic experience is the same, but they're gonna reach out to you. Sometimes they Hoover by proxy, meaning that they have a flying monkey reach out to you. I've experienced that personally, where they'll have someone else reach out to you, and it's likely they're listening on three-way. Like they're listening on three-way while they're texting that flying monkey, or they've already rehearsed questions that they should ask to try to figure out exactly what's going on so they could try to probe you. How mad is he? How pissed is she? What's the likelihood that once I get the flying monkey to reach out and try to check their temperature, if I decide to risk a narcissistic injury, should I reach out to them myself to see if they're open to the possibility of hearing from me again? Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Don't take calls from flying monkeys. Set your boundaries. That's a part of the reason why we ended up in this position in the first place. Let people know around you. Do not report back to them about me, and do not report to me about them. If you want to be in my energy at all, if you want to remain in my life, if you want us to maintain a friendship, respect my boundaries. Do not discuss what's going on with me and mine with them, and vice versa. I don't want to hear it. Good riddance. I'm not concerned with what they got going on, and they don't need to be concerned with what I have going on. Which is why I'm a big believer in, if they're just acquaintances and associates, I sever ties with I'm not talking to anyone, because people are messy. Let's just keep it a buck. People could be messy. I'm going to keep it tall. I'm going to keep it hot on the video. I'm going to keep it tall. People tend to be messy. People, want to talk about other people's things. People want to be involved in other people's things. Okay. So I tend to just, cut everyone off unless it's like I said, super close and significant friendships with longevity attached to it, because then we're already solidified, we're established, they know what my boundaries are, and they're going to behave in my direction in a way that will keep me in their lives, and vice versa. It's a two-way street where they're going to respect me. They're not going to talk to the other person about me. They're not going to report back to me about the other person. They're not going to be sending messages my way. So that's a thing too. They'll Hoover by proxy. There's people who are in toxic and narcissistic relationships for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And these narcs are hoovering them months and months and months and months and years and years and years after the fact. If you're one of those people like me who's had the same phone number for a very long time and haven't changed it, haven't had a need to change it, they'll email you or text you or call you or leave a note on your car if they can, like months and years after the fact. Like, you would think these people have moved on, and they have, because it's not exactly like they were sitting around waiting for an opportunity to make contact with you again. They're entitled to you in their mind. They write their own realities. They live in the world differently than we do. They're justified in their actions. They're justified in the things that they do. It's cool for them to have all these other relationships going on And they do. And they will. And you won't even have to look. Like, I'm not encouraging anybody to go through any phones or tablets or anything. Like, you know what time it is. Trust your gut. Learn to lean into and trust your intuition. That's the God that lives inside of us. When your spidey senses get to going off, it's a reason for it. But you got to be tapped in, and you got to be in check, and you got to be secure. If you're an insecure individual, then that could be tricky. If you have a tendency of being jealous, then that may be harder for you to discern. But for me personally, I'm not crazy. I know the difference. I know the difference. And I don't necessarily need the confirmation. I don't like that feeling of having to like invade someone else's privacy to get the answers, because in a sense, it makes me feel like I'm a hypocrite by doing that. And I shouldn't have to go to those lengths. If you have the feeling like you're unsure, then a conversation is warranted. And if your point of view isn't being heard, respected, appreciated, or like really, you know what I mean, taken seriously, then you already know what time it is. The details don't matter. They're probably just going to hurt you to see it with your eyes. It's going to hurt you, especially if the feelings are strong. If this is someone that you know, have love for, are in love, it's only going to hurt you to see. So keep that in mind. But understand, you know what I mean, the concept of a Hoover and what it is. It's essentially a way for them to find themselves back into your lives. And a Hoover can come in many different forms. It can come, like I said, through social media, email, text, phone calls, pop-ups, flowers, edible arrangements, you know, notes on your vehicle, anything. Hoovers by proxy, sending other people to check on you, sending other people to do their bidding so that you'll want to come back. Sending mail to your residence on purpose, like doing things to disturb your life. And then there's the reverse Hoover. All right. The reverse Hoover is when they do things that will put you in a position to be motivated to reach out to them. So I was just discussing in mail. If they're deliberately sending their mail to your address, even though you tried to, you know what I mean, you already let them know long ago, do a change of address, like you're returning the mail to sender, like you throwing the mail in the trash, like they're doing that in hopes that you'll reach out to them and say, hey, I got some of your mail over here. What are we going to do about this? Like they're looking to make contact with you in any way that they can, but they're looking to do it in a way that'll prevent the narcissistic injury. Because if you reject them, then they could just say, oh, I didn't know my mail was coming. You know what I mean? They could play it off. They don't have the stones to just approach you or hit your line straight up and say, hey, this is what, like, they're not going to do that because they don't deal with rejection well at all. Like, it's magnified for them. Whatever rejection feels like for you, you can multiply that thing for them. It causes narcissistic rage. And because they don't have access to you the same way to take it out on you, they're going to go take it out on one of their other sources of supply. So that's how that works. That's why staying no contact, not responding to the Hoovers is so important, because it's a form of destruction. It's a weapon. It's a nuclear weapon when it comes to winning the battle of your peace and yourself. Again, this isn't about punishment or isn't about vengeance, because we know vengeance isn't for us, but this is about being a strategist and being an analyst and coming out clean on the other side. And when you reject those Hoovers, they have to send that energy somewhere. And that energy and that frustration and that anger, it ends up going to other sources of supply. And then everything changes. This is where you start to regain your respect. See, they were losing respect for you while you were allowing them to come back and you were entertaining them and you kept letting them, disrespect you. You kept letting them cross your lines. They were losing respect for you. But once you stood up for yourself, cut them off, now they got the utmost respect for you. And where they were, collaborating with the new supplies and their other supply sources and smearing your name and talking bad about you and just making up stuff about you that wasn't even true. Now the newer supply and the other sources of supply are confused because now they're bigging you up. Oh, she didn't do it like that. Oh, he would do it like this. It tastes okay, but so-and-so made it better. Oh, it's cool, whatever, but it was better when they did it. And then now the other sources of supply are confused because they're like, well, wait a minute. I thought she was this. I thought he was that. It's twisted. It's twisted, you know? And when it comes to the Hoover, because they have no dignity or no pride or integrity or anything, like they'll cry, beg, borrow, steal, grovel. It doesn't matter. They'll do anything and say anything and sacrifice anything it takes to get back into your life. If anything they gotta say, do, buy, pretend, lie, cheat, it doesn't matter. They'll do it. They don't care. They don't have any integrity about themselves, and they're just gonna lie anyway. In their minds, it's like I'll rewrite the narrative. It doesn't matter what I actually do as long as I can get her to let me back in. It doesn't matter what I gotta do or say as long as I can get him to let me back in. I'll rewrite the story later. When the cycle begins again and they're smearing your name and they're telling people you're abusive and telling people you got bad hygiene and telling people your credit sucks, telling people you always broke, telling people like how unattractive you become, telling people about your bad habits, telling them how your family is horrible people, like telling them just telling them, just making up stuff about you. Nobody's perfect, but they're smearing your name. But it doesn't matter as far as what they got to say or do to come back. They're willing to do it because they don't have any integrity, and they don't care what other people think because they're just going to lie anyway. They do one thing in public and do and say another thing in private. But you know what they're going to do. And since they're ready to write the narrative, they'll do or say whatever it takes to come back, as long as they can get you back. Because when they got you back, they won. Once they got you back, they got you. They're like, yeah. And everything I did in the past, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm going to do it again. Because he keep taking me back. I'm going to do it again. She keep taking me. I'm going to do it again. Apparently, they cool with it. And it's a huge boost in their ego when you respond to the Hoover. No contact. No contact is the way. No contact, no excuses. Unless you absolutely have to interact with this person because maybe you have children, you own a business and you're trying to break that up. You got a mediator, you got a divorce attorney, whatever your scenario is. Unless you absolutely have to speak to these people, you shouldn't be speaking to these people. You shouldn't be on their social media. You shouldn't be checking for confirmation because they're doing the things that they're doing on social media so that you will check. And I can cover that a bit more if you all would like in another video. But they're performing. They're posing. I told you that. I told you that in the past. They're putting up the pictures of the other supply on social media because you're looking at it. You shouldn't even be looking at it. But it changes the effect that it has on you once you start to understand that it's all staged. They're doing this on purpose because they know that you're looking. They left you with unanswered questions on purpose so that you would want closure, which personally, closure comes from within. You don't need them for closure. The closure is in the negative treatment. Move on and build on that. Don't wait for closure. It's another form of manipulation and disarming you to leave you wanting more in a way that's toxic and unhealthy. And they're putting all this stuff on social media. They're giving the new supply everything that you ever wanted. They're going to the restaurants that you said you wanted to go to. They're going on the vacations that you said you wanted to go to. They're buying them the gifts that you said that you wanted. And then they're putting it on social media so that you could see it, to make you question yourself, to make you feel away, to make you ask yourself, why is this person worthy of the things that I wanted, but I gave as much as I could and I wasn't deserving of any of that. They're doing that's again, it's another form of manipulation. It's another form of punishment. And if you answer those Hoovers and you go back to them thinking that they're going to be different, you're wrong. Narcissists don't change. They're not going to change. The cycle repeats. Again, it's a little different for everybody. So you got to pay attention to the, the nuances and the intangibles when it comes to your particular experience in that toxic relationship. But rest assured, they're not changing for the better. They're not here for the reasons that you're here. They're not looking to do right. They're looking to extract. And as long as you allow them to keep extracting from you, that is exactly what they'll do. And when you answer the Hoovers, when you respond to the Hoovers, when you entertain the Hoovers, you're excusing their behavior, and they're going to punish you now for it. They're going to punish you because they look at you like you're less than now. They have no respect for you And now they're going to get uber abusive. It might even get physical. I don't know. I can say for myself personally, I never experienced that. I wasn't there long enough. I don't know. I got uncles. Like, nah, we were, I got brothers. Like, I wasn't there long enough to be experiencing any of that. But hey, who knows? They're losing respect for you with every moment that passes when you take them back. And when you reply to the Hoover, you're weak in their eyes. You're nothing. And they're going to treat you like that. Sometimes they're going to pretend just enough to make you feel differently, just enough to keep you engaged. Oh, but when that new supply or when that supply from the past comes calling because they get bored and they got a short attention span and they need this other burst of energy, they're going to run off to it. They're going to get missing. They're going to start that argument. They're going to disappear. They're going to lie. They're going to cheat. They're going to say they got to travel for work. They're going to say they got to go take care of their sick aunt. Their dog ate their homework. They got a headache. They got to wash their hair. They're going to get missing. Trust and believe. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop it down in the comment section. As always, we can continue this conversation. I want you all to get this healing. I want you all to get this understanding. And I got a lot to say on the topic because I've been through it. Feel free to shoot me an email to asbizlifestyle@gmail.com. That is asbizlifestyle@gmail.com. I want to see you over there at my Instagram, man. I'll put it up on the screen. Worthy XIIXII. Worthy 1212, all lowercase letters. Check the about page on YouTube, man. Get all the links to my socials, the link to my Cash App, to my PayPal. All that is there. They're just in my P.O. box. If you want to connect with me in any way, feel free to reach out to me. But I'm here and I'm here for you and I'm grateful. This is not just for you. It's for me. It's not just for me. It's for you. And we are building community. And we're growing. And this is a good thing. And I appreciate the feedback, the suggestions, the recommendations. If there's any particular video that you would like me to make when it comes to the topic of narcissism or toxic relationships based on my personal experience, drop it down in the comment section or shoot me an email and I'll make that video. I'll put that content up. But y'all show love to me, pour into me, and I'll pour into you. As a creator, it takes a lot of energy to be able to do this, you know, but I'm grateful for it. This is a gift to me and I treat it that way. And I'm humbled by you. I appreciate you for spending time with me. Salute to you and respect to you for wanting to save yourself and for wanting to find your way out and for wanting to better your life. Until next time, I'm out.